Namaskar and welcome to Midday Prime, and over the next 1 hour we'll be bringing you stories and updates from India and the world. Time permitting, we'll also have segments Justice, Dignity and Equality. The UP government recommends the CBI probe into the road accident that killed key witness into the Unnao rape case and critically injured the rape survivor. The issue also echoes in the Lok Sabha. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi says there should be no politics on the issue and the CBI probe is already underway. VG Siddhartha, the son-in-law of the former Union Minister S.M. Krishna and founder of the popular coffee day chain, goes missing from the Netravati river near Mangaluru. An extensive search is on to trace the missing businessman. The Karnataka BJP MPs meet the Union Home Minister Amit Shah to seek help in the pace of the search. President Ramnath Kovind to meet members of the Indian community in Benin. The president to depart for Gambia on the second leg of his three-nation African visit. In more international news, Pakistan's in a military plane crash over there in a residential area of the Pakistan city of Rawalpindi. At least 17 persons are killed, including the two pilots. 3 crew members also killed in the crash. And in sports, Team India, led by Virat Kohli, leaves for the West Indies on a month-long tour. 2 test matches, 3 ODIs and 3 T20 internationals to be played on this tour. Speaking before the departure, the captain says he dismisses reports of a rift within the team. So here's the big story. The Rajya Sabha is currently discussing the bill that seeks to criminalize instant triple talaq. The bill has already been passed in the Lok Sabha. The Law and Justice Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad moved the bill for consideration and passage in the Rajya Sabha. The bill is aimed at protecting the rights of married Muslim women and to prohibit divorce by pronouncing instant triple talaq by their husbands. The bill proposes to make the triple talaq, that's the instant triple talaq, as a cognizable offence. It also provides allowance to victims of the victim woman and their dependent children. Moving this bill, the Law Minister said that this is a matter of gender justice, dignity and equality.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले के बाद सर 574 तीन तलाक के मामले आए सर, और सर जिसमें 345 till 24th of July 2019, so recent, are there. That is after the Supreme Court judgment. Sir, when recurrents were happening, हम ऑर्डिनेंस लेके आए सर. ऑर्डिनेंस के बाद 101 मामले हुए. Sir, I have got all the newspaper reports, sir. I don't want to quote. रोटी काली हो गई, ट्रिपल तलाक. पत्नी ने सब्जी के लिए पैसा मांगा, ट्रिपल तलाक. सर, एक और रोचक बात यह है सर कि he was forcing the wife, he was a mobile vendor, sir, कि पत्नी के अश्लील वीडियो बनाए, उसने विरोध किया तो ट्रिपल तलाक. Sir, I have got all the materials with me, sir. They are all full. The newspaper reports are with me, sir. अब सर हम एक सवाल अपने सामने करना चाहते हैं. इस मुल्क की खवातीनों के बारे में हम क्या कहें कि जजमेंट हो गया है लेकिन कार्रवाई नहीं हो रही है. इसलिए हम लॉ लाए हैं, बिकॉज लॉ इज अ डिटरेंस.
Right, and taking part in this debate, the Union Minority Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi said that the bill is about gender equality and justice for women, irrespective of religion. He also highlighted the major initiatives undertaken by the Modi government for women's empowerment.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी, हमारे लॉ मिनिस्टर रविशंकर प्रसाद जी, यहाँ पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट के किसी जजमेंट को, इस कुप्रथा और कुरीति को खत्म करने वाले जजमेंट को प्रभावी बनाने के लिए ला रहे हैं, निष्प्रभावी करने के लिए नहीं ला रहे हैं. आपको जो है वो महिलाओं की क्या चिंता, आपको सभी की चिंता करनी चाहिए, बिल्कुल करना चाहिए. सभी की चिंता कर रहे हैं तभी ये कर रहे हैं. यस, हम संवैधानिक अधिकार, हम सामाजिक सुरक्षा, इसके पूरी तरह से पक्ष में है.
And the Congress member Ami Yagnik said that the provision to take the matter to the criminal court will further traumatize an already victimized woman, and she said that rather it should have been proposed to take it to the family court if the government was truly concerned about women's empowerment.
सशक्तिकरण की बात की है, पर आपने उसको धकेल दिया एक कोर्ट में, वो भी मैजिस्ट्रेट की क्रिमिनल कोर्ट में, जहां क्रिमिनल ज्यूरिस्प्रूडेंस चलता है, नॉट इन अ फैमिली कोर्ट वेयर सिविल डिस्प्यूट्स कैन टेक प्लेस, फैमिली डिस्प्यूट्स कैन टेक प्लेस। तो आपने ये मैजिस्ट्रेट के पास इसको भेज दिया। वो वैसे भी सताई हुई औरत अगर है महिला, तो उसको आपने क्रिमिनल ज्यूरिस्प्रूडेंस के रेल्म में, एरिना में डाल दिया। उसको जाना है पहले मैजिस्ट्रेट के पास, और वही मैजिस्ट्रेट के पास उन्हें कहना है कि हाँ, मेरे पति ने मुझे ट्रिपल तलाक 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 बोल दिया है, तो अभी मुझे उसको बेल करवाना है, मुझे मेरे बच्चों की कस्टडी भी चाहिए।
Meanwhile, boosting the prospects of the passage of the Triple Talaq bill in the Rajya Sabha, the NDA ally, the JDU, staged a walkout in the upper house. The party had also opposed the bill in the Lok Sabha. And another boost for the government came in the form of the BJD's support to the bill. And this is, let's look at some of the key provisions here in this bill. Here are some of the key provisions coming up on the screen behind me. Well, the key provisions: talaq-e-bidat or any other form of thing. Such declaration, in fact, is a cognizable offence attracting up to 3 years imprisonment with fine. The cognizable, it's only cognizable if the offence is given by a married woman or any person who is related to her by blood. The magistrate may grant the bail to the accused only after hearing the woman. These are the key provisions. The woman is entitled to seek subsistence allowance from her husband. Important there, the woman is also entitled to seek custody of her minor children. So these are the key provisions of the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill 2019. Let's move on then to the other aspects. We're also talking about, let's understand the numbers game in the Rajya Sabha. The numbers game in the Rajya Sabha. The upper house has a total strength of 245 members. However, currently there are 4 vacancies, so the actual strength is now reduced to 241. So this is what it looks like, 241, of which the government needs 121 members to pass a bill if all the 241 members are present during voting. Now, the NDA has a total of 113 members. However, the JDU has staged a walkout, and the UPA has 68 members. The other parties are here. We can see what the other parties are like. So the other parties are important in passing this bill because the government has 113. It's slightly short of the majority. So the other parties are the BJD, the TRS, the YSRCP, 2, the NAPF, that's the Nagaland People's Front, and also the others are 2 others. So for more on this, we are joined by our correspondent Rajesh Raj. Rajesh, important bill. We've seen it, stalled in the Rajya Sabha many times, but this time the government has a chance to get it passed because it looks like some of those others are going to be supporting the government.
देखिए मार्क, आरटीआई संशोधन विधेयक के राज्यसभा से पारित होने के बाद एक संभावना जगी और सरकार ने उस संभावना का पूरा लाभ उठाने की कोशिश की है। और जो आरटीआई संशोधन विधेयक जब पारित हुआ तो बीजू जनता दल, वाईएसआर और टीआरएस, इन 3 जो विपक्षी पार्टियां हैं, इन तीनों पार्टियों का समर्थन सरकार को मिलता है। लिहाजा सरकार बहुमत के जादुई आंकड़े तक पहुंचती है और तमाम विरोधाभास के बावजूद आरटीआई संशोधन विधेयक जो है वो राज्यसभा से पारित हो जाता है। सरकार इससे उत्साहित होकर ट्रिपल तलाक विधेयक को राज्यसभा में पेश करती है और अपने जो तमाम उनके जो सरकार की जो प्रतिबद्धता है उसको कानून मंत्री वहाँ गिनाते हैं। वो कहते हैं कि अगर रोटी काली हो जाए तो पत्नी को 3 तलाक दे दिया जाए, सब्जी खरीदने के लिए अगर उन्हें पैसे ना हो तब उन्हें 3 तलाक दे दिया जाए, और या पत्नी अगर पति के मापदंड पर खड़े उतरते भी हों फिर भी अगर उनके मन में किसी तरह का अगर इनसिक्योरिटी का भाव जगता है तो वो अपनी पत्नी को 3 तलाक दे देते हैं और वो पत्नी जो है पूरा जीवन जो है अभिशप्त जीने को जो है वो मजबूर होती है। तो इस कानून के जरिए उन जो महिलाएं हैं, जो 3 तलाक से पीड़ित महिलाएं हैं, उसको कहीं ना कहीं न्याय दिलाने के लिए सरकार जो है वो प्रतिबद्ध दिखाई पड़ रही है।
Yes.
वहीं कांग्रेस इस विधेयक में कई संशोधनों के साथ इसे सेलेक्ट कमेटी में भेजने की बात कर रही है। ये कहा जा रहा है कांग्रेस की तरफ से कि अगर इसको थोड़ा और ठीक कर दिया जाए तो ये विधेयक सेलेक्ट कमेटी में जाए तो वहां जाकर यह विधेयक एक नया कानून बनकर आएगा। कांग्रेस की तरफ से लगातार ये सवाल खड़े किए जा रहे हैं कि अगर पति जेल जाता है तो जेल जाने के बाद फिर पति और पत्नी के बीच संबंध जो है वो कैसे ठीक हो सकते हैं, बच्चों का क्या होगा। इन तमाम अंदेशों के साथ कांग्रेस सेलेक्ट कमेटी में जाने की बात कर रही है। वहीं देखना होगा कि जनता दल यूनाइटेड ने वॉकआउट कर दिया है। जनता दल यूनाइटेड बाहर चली गई है। हालांकि ये सरकार के वोटिंग के दौरान उनके गैर हाजिर होने से सरकार को इसका फायदा ही मिलता है। अगर कोई सदस्य सदन में मौजूद हो और वो सरकार के खिलाफ अगर वोटिंग करे तो उनके लिए मुसीबतें ज़्यादा बढ़ती हैं। जनता दल यूनाइटेड की अपनी प्रतिबद्धताएं हैं, वो बिहार की परिस्थिति को देखकर वो वॉकआउट कर गए हैं। लेकिन बीजू जनता दल ने सरकार को समर्थन देने की बात की है। अब सारा दारोमदार जो है वो टीआरएस और वाईएसआर को लेकर है कि वो अगर आरटीआई संशोधन बिल की तरह अगर सरकार का साथ देते हैं तो सरकार के लिए ट्रिपल तलाक बिल को पास कराना आसान हो जाएगा। अगर उनका विरोध होता है तो थोड़ा मामला टाइट हो सकता है।
Yes, Rajesh, tell us a little bit about how long this discussion is going to take place in the Rajya Sabha and when are we going to see voting? When will we know whether this bill will be passed?
देखिए अभी तो चर्चा शुरू हुई है। कुछ देर पहले मार्क 12 बजे शुरू हुई है और 1 बजे के बाद लगातार जो डिप्टी स्पीकर हैं हरिवंश वो कोशिश कर रहे थे कि लंच ब्रेक किए बिना जो है वो बहस करा ली जाए और बहस के बाद जल्द से जल्दी वोटिंग करा दी जाए। लेकिन सदस्यों के अनुरोध के बाद उन्होंने 1 घंटे का लंच ब्रेक दिया है। लंच ब्रेक के बाद तमाम जो सियासी पार्टियां हैं उनको मौका दिया जाएगा। तो हम उम्मीद कर सकते हैं कि अगर हर एक दलों से एक सदस्य अगर बोलते हैं तो कुछ घंटे जो है वो निश्चित तौर पर इसमें लगेंगे और फिर सरकार की तरफ से कानून मंत्री रविशंकर प्रसाद विपक्ष की तमाम आशंकाओं और तमाम जो उनकी समस्याएं हैं उसका वो जवाब देंगे। और देखना होगा कि मैंने आपको कहा कि टीआरएस और वाईएसआर का क्या रुख होता है। चूंकि आंध्र प्रदेश और तेलंगाना दोनों राज्यों में अल्पसंख्यकों की बड़ी तादाद है, लिहाजा ये दल अपनी राज्य की ऐतिहासिक और भौगोलिक पृष्ठभूमि का ध्यान रखकर ही फैसला करेंगे, ये उम्मीद की जा रही है। और बहुजन समाज पार्टी की तरफ से भी ये खबरें आ रही हैं कि बीएसपी भी सदन से वॉकआउट कर सकती है या वो विधेयक का समर्थन कर सकती है। ऐसी खबरें सूत्रों के हवाले से मिल रही हैं। अब देखना होगा कि इन दलों का क्या कुछ रुख आने वाले समय में स्पष्ट हो पाता है। फिर बहरहाल जो बिल है विधेयक उस पर चर्चा जो है वो शुरू हो गई है।
Rajesh, this is an important bill because we know that, you know, first in the previous, in Modi 1.0, it was twice stalled in the Rajya Sabha. This was the first bill that was presented by the current government in its second term in the Lok Sabha. It was the first bill that was placed over there, and of course it has been passed in the Lok Sabha, and there's a lot that is at stake for the government to get this bill passed. So the big question once again is, you've given us various pros and cons, you know, the possibilities, you know, the question that everyone wants to know, will the bill be passed today in the Rajya Sabha?
देखिए मार्क, मैंने आपको पहले भी कहा कि जो तमाम विपक्षी पार्टियां हैं उनके रुख पर बहुत कुछ निर्भर करेगा और सरकार की जो सत्ताधारी पार्टी है जनता दल यूनाइटेड ने वॉकआउट कर दिया है। लोकसभा में भी उन्होंने विरोध किया था, राज्यसभा में भी वो सदन से बाहर जा चुके हैं। हालांकि सदन से वॉकआउट किया जाना,
Talk about the numbers, Rajesh, numbers, what are the numbers?
नंबर 113 एनडीए के सदस्य हैं और उसमें से 6 जनता दल यूनाइटेड के जो सदस्य हैं वो बाहर जा चुके हैं। ऐसे में 68 जो यूपीए के सदस्य हैं जिसका जिक्र आपने भी किया और उसके अलावा जो तमाम विपक्षी पार्टियां हैं। टीएमसी के बारे में आप कह सकते हैं कि टीएमसी का साथ शायद ही सरकार को मिल पाए। समाजवादी पार्टी का क्या रुख होगा ये कुछ देर में स्पष्ट होगा। बीएसपी जो है, बीएसपी के 4 सांसद हैं, बीएसपी के सांसदों का रुख जो है वो अब तक स्पष्ट नहीं हो पाया है। ये कयास लगाया जा रहा है कि बीएसपी भी अगर वॉकआउट करती है तो जब ये तमाम दल अगर वॉकआउट करते हैं तो वो भी प्रत्यक्ष और अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से सरकार का समर्थन करेंगे। सरकार का जो संख्या बल होगा, संख्या बल पर फिर वोटिंग होगी। तो ऐसी स्थिति में ट्रिपल जो तलाक विधेयक है वो सदन से पारित हो सकता है। बहरहाल की जो तमाम विपक्षी पार्टियां जो जिसकी तरफ टकटकी लगाए हुए सत्ता पक्ष के लोग हैं, अगर उनका समर्थन या वॉकआउट होता है तो ट्रिपल तलाक बिल जो है आज सदन से पास हो सकता है और यह एक इतिहास बन सकता है।
Thank you, Rajesh Raj, joining us from the Rajya Sabha with those inputs. Moving on to our next story then, President Ramnath Kovind, who's on a visit to 3 African nations, the West African nations actually, is scheduled to interact with the Indian diaspora in Benin. Earlier on Monday, the president addressed the National Assembly of Benin in Porto Novo, and the president said that both countries share a deep-rooted friendship. He complimented Benin on emerging as a shining example of a tolerant, progressive, multi-ethnic and multi-religious society. He thanked Benin also for joining hands with India as stakeholders in the International Solar Alliance and for strengthening the global fight against climate change.
The India-Benin story is one of deep-rooted friendship and optimism. Our democracies have brought us together in an embrace that many wish to emulate. Together, we have weaved a vibrant present and remain committed to a brighter future. I once again compliment you on emerging as a shining example of a tolerant and progressive, multi-ethnic and multi-religious society with a stable, multi-party democracy in West Africa. My government has adopted the vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, which means collective efforts, inclusive growth with everyone's trust. On this basis, we are moving forward to build a strong, prosperous and inclusive India.
Well, the Uttar Pradesh government has recommended a CBI probe into the road accident in which the Unnao rape survivor and her lawyer were critically injured and her 2 aunts were killed. The state government has sent a formal request to the Centre for the CBI probe. Earlier on Monday, the UP police filed a murder case against BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar and 9 others after the rape survivor's family filed a complaint alleging conspiracy behind the accident. Sengar is a 4-time MLA and is accused of raping the woman, and he was arrested last year in April. On Sunday, the car in which the rape survivor, her family and the lawyer were traveling was hit by an over-speeding truck in Raebareli, killing 2 members and leaving her and the advocate critically injured. Mahesh Singh is the uncle of the 19-year-old woman, and he is lodged in the Raebareli jail. Meanwhile, a team of National Commission for Women will visit the survivor and her family members in Unnao today. The commission has asked the state police to ensure a free, fair and speedy probe in the case. And let's go back to our previous story about the president's visit to Benin, and our correspondent Nandita Dagar now joins us from Benin. Well, Nandita, the president is speaking to the Indian diaspora today. How big is that, the community there, and how they must be pretty excited, aren't they?
Yes, Mark. Good morning to you from Benin, and good afternoon as it is in Delhi right now. Yes. Because Benin is about 4.5 hours ahead behind Delhi's schedule. The president is going to address. There is a small diaspora here of about 1,500 people in Benin, and they are mostly traders, and they work in HR, textiles. As you know, India is the largest trading partner of Benin with over $800 million worth of trade, and now we have given them a line of credit for $100 million and facilitated e-visa, extended an e-visa facility for them, and it will further bolster the people-to-people contacts. Yes, you're right, people are very excited. In fact, I have spoken to a few people who have actually been trying for months to get to this event because it's actually very prestigious. This is the first time an Indian head of state is visiting Benin. We have with us a young lady, Anshika Shahi, from the Indian International School of Benin. And you study in which standard, Anshika?
Grade 6.
Grade 6. And how excited are you, or what are you looking forward to in the President's address and meeting here?
I am very excited to meet the President. It is also very special for me to meet the respected President of India. And yeah, I don't have any words to describe.
Mark, we also have with us a gentleman from who works in the company, because as you know, a lot of pharmaceuticals, travel, trade companies are about 100 Indian companies are working here. We have with us Mr. Jitendra Arora. Mr. Arora, what do you expect the President's visit to Benin, into this small country, West African coastal nation of only 11 million people and a even very minuscule Indian community? What do you expect this visit to bring to you and the people of Benin?
See, this is the first ever visit by President of India. And we all are very excited because, as I told you, the first visit, and even there is small community, but everyone is hardworking here, and everyone is looking forward that President of India will give something good to Benin as well.
And he has.
And he has.
Yes, worth of credit, visa.
That is good for Indian community as well, because now
so Mark, chefs, traders, businessmen, people in the textile industry, pharmaceuticals, cashew trade, peanuts, these comprise the Indian community, and this place is currently teeming with diplomats, because in 10 minutes the President of India is going to arrive on stage, and there will also be an occasion for selfies and for group photographs with the Indian team. A very, very visibly exciting and emphatic small Indian community here. Mark?
Right. Thanks very much, Nandita, for those inputs, and enjoy the President's address. Moving on to our next story then, the issue of the Unnao rape survivors accident also echoed in the Lok Sabha, where opposition members raised the issue and demanded Home Minister Amit Shah's statement. Leader of the Congress in the lower house, Adar Ranjan Chaudhary, raised this issue. He termed it shameful.
ये शर्मसार घटना है, तो हम सबको इसके लिए शर्मिंदा होना पड़ेगा। सर हमारा मांग है सर, ये सीबीआई की जांच हो रही है, और इसके लिए गृह मंत्री जी सदन में आए, और गृह मंत्री आने के बाद ये बयान पेश करे।
And the BJP MP Jagdambika Pal has also spoken on this issue, and he said that the overspeeding truck that hit the car of the woman and her family were traveling in belonged to a Samajwadi Party leader.
पीड़िता के परिवार के साक्ष्य को मिटाने के लिए ट्रक से हत्या करने का प्रयास हुआ है। मैं कहना चाहता हूं, ये देश को गुमराह कर रहे हैं। जिस ट्रक से एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, वो ट्रक समाजवादी पार्टी के नेता अमरपाल सिंह का था। ये जवाब दे दें।
And the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said that the state government has already recommended a CBI probe, and there should be no politics on the issue.
इसमें राजनीति नहीं करना चाहिए। ऑलरेडी सीबीआई इंक्वायरी चल रहा है, एफआईआर भी दर्ज हो चुका है। पूरा जांच निष्पक्षता से गवर्नमेंट कर रही है।
And Ashutosh, our correspondent, now joins us from Lucknow with an update on this story. Well, Ashutosh, the government says that there's a CBI inquiry that is going on. Tell us what is the latest as far as, the investigation, because there's a lot of pressure to try and find some, clarity as to how this truck came and from where it came. Jagdambika Pal in Parliament says it's an Samajwadi Party person who owns that truck.
बिल्कुल मार्क, सबसे पहले हम आपको ये बताना चाहते हैं कि पीड़िता जो किंग जॉर्ज मेडिकल यूनिवर्सिटी में इसके ट्रामा सेंटर में भर्ती है, पीड़िता और पीड़िता के अधिवक्ता दोनों की हालत नाजुक बनी हुई है, वेंटिलेटर पर रखा गया है। और अस्पताल के अंदर के सूत्रों का, सरकार का अगर कहना है कि अगर इनको हो सकता है कि इलाज के लिए यहाँ से दिल्ली और अन्य जगह भी ले जाया जा सकता है। काफ़ी रक्तस्राव हुआ था, गंभीर चोटें हैं, इसके कारण अब भी हालत जो है डॉक्टरों को कहना है कि नाजुक बनी हुई है। दूसरी तरफ जिस तरीके से आज इस मामले ने मोड़ लिया है, सरकार ने पूरी तौर पर इस मामले को सीबीआई को हैंडओवर कर दिया है। दुर्घटना का मामला और उसके साथ जुड़ी हुई सारी जांच जो है वो सीबीआई को सौंपी जा चुकी हैं। लेकिन मार्क, जिस तरीके से ये दुर्घटना हुई उसके सारे परिस्थिति साक्ष्य जो है इस ओर इशारा करते हैं कि कहीं न कहीं इसमें षड्यंत्र है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से ट्रक अपने रास्ते को छोड़ करके आता है और उसके बाद एक्सीडेंट होता है, ट्रक के नंबर्स को मिटाने की कोशिश की जाती है, वो सारी चीज़ें जो है है और लगातार पीड़िता की मां का कहना है कि उसे मारने की धमकी दी जा रही थी और उसे मिटा देने की धमकी दी जा रही थी, जिससे कि मामले की गवाही न हो सके। और इसमें जो मृत पीड़िता की चाची हैं वही दुष्कर्म मामले की मुख्य गवाह थी। इस कारण जो है उनका न रहना सीबीआई के लिए भी एक चुनौती भरा है। सीबीआई की टीम कल जो है अस्पताल में भी गई थी, वो भी इस मामले से जुड़े हुए तमाम सारे तथ्यों और साक्ष्यों को इकट्ठा कर रही है। जहां तक विपक्ष का सवाल है, विपक्ष ने जो है जिस तरह से इस मुद्दे को सदन में उठाया है, कांग्रेस पार्टी ने आज विधानसभा के सामने लखनऊ में भी धरना दिया और इस मामले को लेकर के जो कुछ भी राजनीति की जानी चाहिए विपक्ष के द्वारा वो विपक्ष कर रहे हैं। लेकिन जहां तक राज्य सरकार का सवाल है, राज्य सरकार ने इस दुर्घटना या षड्यंत्रकारी दुर्घटना के तत्काल बाद से ही इस पर जो फौरी कार्य हो सकते थे, कानूनन जो फौरी तौर पर कार्रवाई की जानी चाहिए थी, वो सारी कार्रवाई की जा चुकी है। ट्रक चालक, ट्रक का मालिक, ट्रक का क्लीनर, ये तीनों गिरफ्तार किए जा चुके हैं। फोरेंसिक्स के लोग जाकर के वहां पर साक्ष्यों को इकट्ठा कर चुके हैं। मामले की संपूर्ण जो है जानकारी और सारे तथ्य जो है सीबीआई को अवगत कराए जा रहे हैं। मामले की जांच भी सीबीआई को दे दी गई है। जी मार्क।
Right, Ashutosh, you also tell us, the rape survivor, she has still been unconscious. What is her state currently? You were mentioning a little bit about that at the beginning of your first answer.
मार्क, जिन लोगों को गिरफ्तार किया गया है उसमें चालक का कहना यह है कि भारी बरसात हो रही थी और उसके दौरान जो है उसे दिखाई नहीं दिया, ट्रक नियंत्रित नहीं कर पाया। लेकिन जो प्रत्यक्षदर्शी हैं वो बार बार ये कहते हैं कि ट्रक जो है अपनी दूसरी तरफ से दूसरे वे में चला रहा था और उसकी गति अत्यधिक थी और जिसके कारण ये दुर्घटना हुई। दुर्घटना हुई या दुर्घटना कराई गई, इस चीज़ को लेकर के सारी जांच का बिंदु है और जांच वहीं जाकर के टिक गई है कि इसके पीछे कौन कौन लोग जुड़े हो सकते हैं। जो ड्राइवर है, ट्रक में जो लोग थे, उनके मोबाइल भी कलेक्ट किया है पुलिस ने, उनके कॉल रिकॉर्डिंग भी कहाँ ली जा रही है और किसी तरह का कोई सूत्र षड्यंत्र का हो सकता है, उसकी तलाश जो है इन्वेस्टिगेशन की टीम लगातार कर रही है। जी मार्क।
Thanks very much, Ashutosh, for those inputs. Moving on to our next story then. The Lok Sabha today paid tribute to the former union minister and senior Congress leader, the late Jaipal Reddy. Jaipal Reddy had passed away on Sunday after a prolonged illness in Hyderabad.
माननीय सदस्यगण, मुझे सभा को हमारे पूर्व सदस्य श्री एस जयपाल रेड्डी के दुखद निधन के बारे में सूचित करना है। हम अपने पूर्व सहयोगी के निधन पर गहरा शोक व्यक्त करते हैं और मुझे विश्वास है कि सभा शोक संतप्त परिवार के प्रति अपनी संवेदना प्रकट करने में मेरे साथ है। अब सभा दिग्गज आत्मा के सम्मान में थोड़ी देर मौन रहेगी।
And the Union Minister Ramvilas Paswan laid the Consumer Protection Bill 2019 for consideration and passage in the Lok Sabha. Moving on to our next story, the Cafe Coffee Day founder VG Siddhartha was reported to have gone missing after he left from Bengaluru on Monday night. According to reports, Siddhartha, the son-in-law of the former Karnataka Chief Minister and former Union Minister S.M. Krishna, was headed for Sakleshpur, but on the way he had asked his driver to go towards Mangaluru. And on reaching a bridge over the Netravati river in the Kotepura area of Dakshina Kannada district, he got down from the car and he told his driver that he was going to go for a walk. And when he did not return, even after 2 hours, the driver approached the police and lodged a missing complaint. More than 200 policemen, divers included, are also they're going about with 25 boats carrying out this search for the missing businessman. Sniffer dogs too have been pressed into service. And in a letter written to the Cafe Coffee Day board, Siddhartha had said that he failed to create the right profitable business model despite taking his best efforts and making his best efforts. And he said that I fought for a long time, but today I gave up as I could not take any more pressure from one of the private equity partners forcing me to buy back shares, a transaction I had partially completed 6 months ago by borrowing a large sum of money from a friend. Siddhartha further added that tremendous pressure from other lenders led to him succumbing to the situation. Meanwhile, the BJP MP Shobha Karandalaje has written a letter to the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh seeking his help. The BJP leader in the letter said that the state government has already started the search operation. However, heavy rain and the current weather condition is causing a problem for speedy search.
हमारे सिद्धार्थ नापता है, इसको ढूंढने के लिए वो इसका कार था नेत्रावती ब्रिज में। नेत्रावती रिवर ब्रिज अभी तो बारिश के कारण बहुत बहती है, इसीलिए उसको ढूंढने के लिए कोस्टल गार्ड एंड नेवी का मदद लेने के लिए हम मांगे हैं।
Meanwhile, a delegation of Karnataka BJP MPs today met the Home Minister Amit Shah and sought his help in tracing the missing CCD founder. In Karnataka, Vishweshwar Hegde Khagari today filed his nominations for as the BJP's candidate to the Speaker's post, and he was accompanied by the Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa and other senior party leaders. The ruling BJP in Karnataka had fielded the former minister and MLA from Sirsi in Uttara Kannada district after the post of the Speaker became vacant following the resignation of Ramesh Kumar, who had stepped down from the post on Monday. The election to the post of Speaker of Karnataka Assembly will be held on Wednesday. Well, our correspondent Aisha Khanum now joins us from Bengaluru. Well, Aisha, first about Siddhartha's, the missing businessman of Cafe Coffee Day. What's the latest on that situation?
Well, Mark, the search has intensified. The massive search operations are still going on. On one hand, the Karnataka police has launched Operation Siddharth. On the other hand, the Coast Guard has responded to the appeal of the Karnataka MPs, and the Coast Guard has now put in service Indian Coast Guard ship Rajdoot to patrol off the Mangalore port and River Netravati, since the River Netravati ends up in the Arabian Sea. So entire area is being searched now, and more professional divers have been employed, because just one fisherman has come forward to tell the police that yesterday he spotted a man around 7 p.m. He spotted someone jumping off from the Netravati bridge into the river, and this fisherman says that he tried to stop them, but since it was raining very heavy, that man had already jumped in the river, and then they could not save him. So this is the fisherman who has come forward and told the police there. So for the police, there are three clues that they are searching. They have relied this search based upon. Now the first one is the driver's version of his complaint before the police, that Siddharth did not return when he went on a walk on the bridge. Then second is the fisherman's version, that he noticed somebody jumping into the river from that bridge. And also third one is a letter that Siddharth had sent to the Cafe Coffee Day Board of Directors. So police is examining all these three, and police is not ruling out any other angle also in this regard, because Siddharth was in heavy debts, and Siddharth was in a financial mess from past few years. From 2017, he was into several problems with regard to tax evasions and loans and defaults, and huge crores of interest piling on his business. So the letter also expresses, it clearly shows that he was in a depressed state of mind, and he has asked his board of directors to forgive him. And also he says that he has given up the fight. Yes, Siddharth did fight for a long time, and he was appearing before the income tax department, and he was also told that there will be ED raids on him. So Siddharth was in trouble from past few years. So right now the family here, SM Krishna's family, stays here at Sadashiv Nagar. The family is awaiting some news from Mangalore, but so far there is no update on as the massive search operations are going on. So the family is still waiting, and there is a pall of gloom in his house, and the family
and a pall of gloom also perhaps, Aisha, all over Bengaluru as well, you know, and the fact that the Cafe Coffee Day brand is such an important brand. And Siddhartha, you know, I mean, going back in the 1990s when he created that cyber cafe on Brigade Road, it was the first cyber cafe in India. And the concept of, you know, having coffee and browsing the internet that was his creation, which became so popular.
Yes.
And you know, of course, Coffee Day became a cafe after a period of time, but initially it was a cyber cafe. And you know, all this goes back, and I remember where in the 90s it was Siddharth Bhatia, I think, who was of Hotmail Flame, who went and sat in that cyber cafe and talked about it. You know, what a brilliant idea it was. So from those beginnings to where this company set up, he was also with Mindtree as one of its founders.
Yes.
So it seems a little odd, you know, that he would have financial troubles.
Yes, absolutely, you're right, Mark. Siddharth was the icon for youth, and the way he brought in a revolution for the coffee lovers with the Cafe Coffee Day brand, and it became a hangout for the youngsters. In fact, the pubs and bars in Bangalore felt threatened by the opening of several Cafe Coffee Day bars in the city, and Siddharth became icon with the youth. And there was Cafe Coffee Day is not only limited to Bangalore now; it has spread across the country and also international chain.
Right.
And Siddharth taking this step is unbelievable, and I saw that a lot of youngsters were here outside SM Krishna's residence, and most of these youngsters they say that they are coffee lovers and they have come to know about what has happened to Siddharth. So everyone is waiting you know, for some update on this search operations which are going on. But then Siddharth was in financial losses. Siddharth was also in trouble because of tax evasions, and also this business, and he simultaneously opened other businesses like furniture business, financial consultancy, and there were a lot of other things wherein he had borrowed huge loans from several banks, and that led to him into further financial mess. So he could not recover. He could not recover from this financial mess. So it is very evident in that letter that he gave up the fight which he was fighting for so long. So Siddharth was not only just SM Krishna's son-in-law, he was a youth icon, and as his tagline says, a lot can happen over coffee in the Cafe Coffee Day.
Yes.
So this lot has happened in his business also. Unfortunately today his whereabouts are not known, and people and his family is worried about his disappearance, and search operations are going on as to what has happened to him.
We leave it there. Thanks very much, Aisha Khanam, for those updates. Moving on to our next story then. Noting that the opposition has been pressing for a division of votes during the passage of many bills, the BJP President Amit Shah on Tuesday told party MPs to ensure their presence in Parliament so that draft legislations are backed by the maximum number of lawmakers. Addressing the BJP Parliamentary Party meeting, Amit Shah also asked MPs, including union ministers, to attend a two-day orientation program being held by the party on August 3-4. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was also present at the meeting. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi spoke to the media after the meeting.
सारे देश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक ऐसी पार्टी है, कार्यकर्ताओं का ट्रेनिंग के लिए हर वर्ष एक अभ्यास वर्ग का श्रृंखला चलता है। नीचे लेवल से, बूथ लेवल से ये अभ्यास वर्ग बहुत दिनों से होते रहे हैं। चुनाव के कारण लोकसभा और राज्यसभा का ये अभ्यास वर्ग ओरिएंटेशन ट्रेनिंग कैंप पेंडिंग था। इसी 3 और 4 सैटरडे संडे को इसी हॉल में 2 दिन के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सभी राज्यसभा और लोकसभा सदस्यों के लिए अभ्यास वर्ग होगा।
And in Midday Prime, it's time now for news and updates from the world of business. And Nancy has all these updates. Over to you, Nancy.
Thanks, Mark. Let's take a look at all the business news. Well, the Commerce and Industry Ministry will soon notify the constitution of a National Traders Welfare Board that will identify the ways to improve access to funds for the unorganized sector and also suggest measures to simplify the acts and rules applicable to traders. And the board will also make recommendations to reduce the compliance burden of traders as well as to ensure social security benefits, which is insurance, pension and healthcare for traders and their employees. The board will be headed by a joint secretary in the DPIIT and will include representatives from other ministries. Okay, in fact, we'll get you more business news in just a bit, but for now we are going across now live to the Rajya Sabha. In fact, let's go across live now. Important debate taking place there.
Sir, talaq is all the time unilateral. A husband says talaq, 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 and that divorce. Suppose a Muslim woman want to give talaq to his husband. Is that unilateral? Yes, there is a system. Khula, what do you call khula? Khula you call it. But khula is not, the khula, the wife will appeal the husband, please divorce me, and the husband agrees. Then also the tortured wife, the suffering wife can get a talaq. My submission to the administration is please make some provision in the law. If you say the woman, you want to equate the woman with the man, no discrimination. If a husband can give talaq or divorce a lady unilaterally, why not the wife has the same right? So you have no provision in the. So please allow me 2-3 minutes, sir. Sir,
1 minute.
2 minutes, sir. Sir, we are talking social reformation. We want to emancipate the women, free them from torture, remove the social stigma. Sir, reformation is a continuous process. And whenever there is a reformation in the society, Sir, Sati Daha Pratha was there in Hindu society. And Raja Ram Mohan Roy fought throughout his life. So there was a lot of resentment. People opposed Ram Mohan Roy. And ultimately the British government had to come up with a law. Sir, my point is, sir.
Conclude, Prasanna Acharya.
I am concluding, sir. Sometime, my last point, sir. मुझे लगता है हम लोग सब डबल स्पीक करते हैं, बोलते एक है और करते एक है। मुसलमान महिलाओं को हमें मुक्ति दिलाना चाहिए, ये कानून तो इसीलिए है ना। तो मुसलमान महिला को जब हाजी अली दरगाह में प्रवेश का अनुमति सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दिया, काफी लोगों ने विरोध किया। अब सबरीमला में अयप्पा मंदिर में सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी ऑर्डर दिया कि महिलाओं का प्रवेश का अधिकार दिया, तब भी हम विरोध करते हैं। ये डबल स्पीक नहीं है सर।
प्लीज कंक्लूड।
वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ एम्पावरिंग द वुमेन।
कंक्लूड।
वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ एम्पावरिंग द वुमेन। तो वुमेन माने खाली मुस्लिम महिला नहीं, खाली हिंदू महिला नहीं, कि क्रिश्चियन महिला नहीं, समाज में जितने भी महिलाएं हैं सबको मुक्ति देना लाख कानून होना चाहिए। तो इसीलिए सर मेरा ये अपील, आई सपोर्ट दिस बिल, but I will request the honorable minister, whatever discrepancies I have described,
Sri Alaram Karim, Sri Alaram Karim,
while you are answering.
Sri Alaram
very much.
That important debate taking place there in the upper house of parliament in the Rajya Sabha on the triple talaq bill, and the BJD's Prasanna Acharya was making his point there. Remember, the Rajya Sabha is currently discussing the triple talaq bill, and the bill has already been passed in the Lok Sabha. The Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad had moved the bill for consideration and passage aimed for the justice and the dignity of Muslim women across the country. Okay, let's go back to all the business news now. While the centre has been taking initiatives to popularize environment-friendly electric vehicles, a move seen towards environment-friendly mobility, an interministerial panel of the Niti Aayog has sanctioned around 5,600 electric buses for the operations in 65 cities. While this will give a huge impetus to automobile sector to clean up our cities and will give a booster dose to the Make in India drive, what the Niti Aayog CEO has tweeted. In the Union Budget 2019-20, the government proposed additional income tax deduction of 1.5 lakh rupees on the interest paid on loans taken to purchase the electric vehicles. And the housing demand has gone up 6% during April to June period across 9 major cities. That's according to data analytics firm Prop Equity. The 9 cities included in the study are Gurugram, Noida, Mumbai, Kolkata, Pune, Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Thane and Chennai. The housing sale increased during the April to June this year to 61,700 units as against 58,200 units in the year-ago period. The new launches from reputed developers are receiving an encouraging response from the market. It noted that the developers who have launched projects from 2018 onwards have ensured the right price by reducing the size. And that's all the business news this afternoon, Mark. It's back to you for the rest of the news.
Thanks very much, Thanks very much, Nancy. And let's go across live now to Benin, and the President of India, Ramnath Kovind, is speaking to an Indian diaspora audience.
Present here today, Sri Pratap Chand Sarangi, a minister in the Modi government and elected as a Lok Sabha MP from Odisha. And on my left, Sri Dilip Ghosh, he is a member of parliament from West Bengal. Our High Commissioner, Mr. Thakur, and his wife, esteemed members of the Indian community present here, members of the Indian diaspora, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar and good morning. Let me begin by congratulating Madam Zainab Abi for an excellent rendition of Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan To Tene Kahiye. And we all must have noticed her Indian typical dress, and she was looking as she has been newly married. She has most gracefully combined African sensibility to Indian spirituality. That this bhajan was sung in this venue, that is Madiba Hall, and that too in a year when we are celebrating the 150th birth anniversary celebrations of Mahatma Gandhi. It makes even more special. Rarely do we get a chance to remember our iconic leaders, Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela, in a manner that we have done today. Thank you very much for this special welcome. भारत से बेनिन की पहली ये मेरी राजकीय यात्रा है, और इस यात्रा पर आकर के मुझे बेहद खुशी हो रही है। पश्चिम अफ्रीका की यात्रा का ये मेरा पहला अवसर है। मुझे गाम्बिया और गिनी गणराज्य भी यहाँ के बाद जाना है। भारत की ओर से इन देशों में भी राष्ट्राध्यक्ष स्तर की ये पहली यात्रा होगी। मेरी यात्राएं अफ्रीका महाद्वीप के सभी देशों के साथ अपने संबंधों को मजबूत बनाने की हमारी सरकार की प्रतिबद्धता का प्रतीक है। आज सुबह आप सभी के बीच आकर मैं बहुत प्रसन्न हूँ। उसके दो कारण, एक तो ये कि जो मैं और मेरा जो डेलीगेशन प्रतिनिधि मंडल भारत से जब परसों के रोज यहाँ आया तो दिन भर की यात्रा लगभग 11 घंटे की। उस यात्रा की थकावट थी। उस थकावट में कल जो हमारी यहाँ के राष्ट्रपति जी, यहाँ की सरकार के साथ में, यहाँ की नेशनल असेंबली के साथ में जो चर्चा हुई, उनको अटेंड किया। उस थकावट ने और भी जोर दिया। लेकिन वो दोनों थकावट आज जब आप सब लोगों से मिले तो सारी थकावट दूर हो गई। मुझे बताया गया है कि बेनिन के अलावा नाइजीरिया से भी हमारे जो भारतीय समुदाय के लोग यहाँ पर आए हुए हैं। मैं आप सभी का अभिनंदन करता हूँ। अभी तक मैंने जिस भी देश की यात्रा की है, उस देश में रह रहे हमारा जो इंडियन डायस्पोरा है, उनसे मिलने की मेरी हमेशा इच्छा रहती है, ताकि उन्हें भारत की विकास गाथा के बारे में बता सकूं और उनके हालचाल भी जान सकूं, उनके परिवार और मित्रों की शुभकामनाएं भी उन तक पहुंचा सकूं। दूर देश में रह रहे अपने भाइयों बहनों से मिलना मेरे लिए एक विशिष्ट अनुभव होता है और इसे मैं अपने हृदय में हमेशा संजो कर रखता हूँ। Yesterday I held wide-ranging discussions with the President of Benin, Mr. Tolan. I was also given the special honor to address the National Assembly. In my interactions, I was assured the fullest support to further strengthen India-Benin ties. The Benin leaders were effusive in their praise for you, for your hard work and the value that you bring to the local economy and to the local community. To take our partnership forward, we signed several agreements with Benin. We have offered a concessional loan of $100 million to finance development projects in the country and have agreed to help Benin set up its export credit agency. We have also offered our tele-education program, that is E-Vidya Bharti and telemedicine project E-Arogya Bharti, to skill and train the youth in Benin. In addition, a cultural exchange program has also been signed. We seek your valuable support in making these initiatives a success. Ladies and gentlemen, our relations with the African continent are deep and varied. Many of you present here have lived in Benin, Niger, and in other African countries for generations. Today, in every African country, we have a thriving Indian community. But I am most impressed by the achievements of our Indian brothers and sisters in Benin. You have earned a name for yourself and in the process created immense goodwill for your country. You have indeed been true cultural ambassadors of India. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, we recently held our general elections in India. It was the largest democratic exercise on this planet. Our new government has received a strong and decisive mandate. Its commitment to bring about transformative changes in the country, from building next generation infrastructure to harnessing next generation technology, from empowering women and youth to doubling the income of farmers, remains absolute. In accordance with its mandate, the government has adopted the vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas or Sabka Vishwas, which means collective efforts, inclusive growth with everyone's trust. On this basis, we are moving forward to build a strong, prosperous and inclusive India. We want to walk and run this journey not alone, but with friends, families and partners. We count on our Indian diaspora as entrepreneurs, as professionals, as change makers, or simply as ambassadors of Indian values and culture to support our growth. Today, India has emerged as a key driver of global growth. In the next 7 years, our target is to become a $5 trillion economy. Our engagement with the world, therefore, is set to increase manifold. Our partnership with Africa will occupy a central place in this matrix. We have decided to open 18 new embassies in Africa, 7 of them in West Africa. In this context, consolidation of our ties with countries like Benin is very important. India is Benin's largest trading partner. Nearly 100 Indian or Indian-owned companies are operating here. You can help us create new business and investment collaborations between Benin and India and support our growth and development. Much of what our two countries have achieved today would not have been possible without the contribution of the vibrant Indian community in Benin. You have travelled far and wide and worked and excelled in difficult circumstances. In Africa in general and in West Africa in particular, you have gone even further and become an engine of economic growth. And not just that, you have also shared the benefits of your prosperity with the local people. Ladies and gentlemen, I am most impressed to learn the work being done by the Indian Association in Cotonou. In the absence of an Indian embassy in Benin, the association has become an important bridge between our community members and the Indian mission in Abuja, Nigeria. Be it extending help to any distressed Indian or facilitating consular services, the Indian Association has always been at the forefront. The Indian government appreciates this work even more, for we have mandated our embassies abroad to take prompt and effective action whenever our people need help. We have effectively used social media tools to reach out to people in distress and not just for consular and passport services. In the last 5 years, we have rescued over 90,000 Indians, as well as nationals from 50 other countries caught in humanitarian crisis and similar situations abroad. As a result of our efforts, our people overseas are assured of their safety and welfare. Our people-centric approach has indeed instilled a new confidence in them towards their government. Ladies and gentlemen, Benin, that is your adopted home, has made major progress as a democracy. This has allowed you to prosper and grow, to maintain your culture and traditions, and to celebrate your fairs and festivals. And while you have done so, you have always given a helping hand to your Beninese friends, be it facilitating their visit to India for medical treatment and education in helping them in need. That is why there is so much goodwill in Benin for you all. I am happy to learn that our community has even joined hands to run a CBSE pattern Indian International School in Cotonou. It speaks well of you that the school is popular not just among Indians but with Beninese and foreign students as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your approach to life and accomplishments make us truly proud. I do hope that you will continue with your good work in the service of India and for the betterment of India-Benin relations. I wish you success and prosperity in the years ahead, and as I do so, I invite you to visit Rashtrapati Bhavan whenever you happen to be in Delhi. Of course, it may be my official residence come office, but first and foremost, it is a national monument that belongs to all Indians, including yourself. And you must come by to show its heritage and people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sir.
The President there addressing the Indian diaspora in Benin. And with that, we conclude Midday Prime for today. Thank you very much for being with us. Namaskar.